And welcome into the CQ Arena in Towson, Maryland, just north of Baltimore. The Major Arena Soccer League is on the air. Florida Tropics take on the Baltimore Blast tonight. Gary Stein, Paul Mittelmeyer, Andrew Primrose with you as the Blast try to clinch home field advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs, and the Tropics try to stay in playoff contention tonight. Paul, both teams are 16-4. Or I should say the Blast is 16-4. Florida, though, 10-9, and they really need this one to stay in contention.
Well, Florida needs this game. Blast want this game, obviously, to clinch that Eastern Conference championship if they get that far in this year's playoffs. So, yeah, it's a much bigger game for Florida. Big game last night for the Blast, 9-6 win over Milwaukee to get the upper hand. And as Danny Kelly said in the locker room before the game, do not give up what you earned last night by not taking Florida seriously here tonight.
And what did they earn last night? Let's go downfield. Andrew Primrose standing by for a little more on last night's game. Andrew?
Well, guys,
Right now, we ask you to check out Blast Nation for tonight's starting lineup. Brought to you by Rose Bigger Roofing. Starting on defense, number 9, Kat Billy. On defense, number 13, Jeremy Riley. Starting in midfield, number 11, Tony Donatelli. Starting in forward, number 22, Joan Pereira.
Players to watch tonight for Florida include...
Yeah, we'll get back to Andrew. So you have a technical problem with Andrew down on the field. We'll get that straightened out.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams, I mean, despite the records, Florida and the Blast have played 3 times. They played the Blast tough. There was a 10-1 game here, but there have been 2 one-goal games between the teams.
When there's been equal opportunity as far as rest and equal, one team playing the same time as the other team, but I mean by that, the 10-1 game here, Florida played the night before. Blast waited for them. They came here right away earlier the next day, and the Blast kind of ran them out of the building. So I expect it to be a much better game here at CQ the second time around.
Some key players to watch out for tonight, Mauricio Salas and Ricardo Dieguez. They had big games last night against Harrisburg as Florida kept alive its playoff hopes by beating the Heat. 6 points for both of those players, 4 goals and 2 assists apiece. Big last night for the Blast, and they had balanced scoring all night. 8 players scored. But John Mello came up with 2 goals, and Joey Capinos, in place of William Vanzella, came up huge in the fourth quarter.
Joey had some big saves in that fourth quarter at key crucial moments. And Jonathan Mello's done a nice job of embracing that role of the outlet midfielder. And even in addition to that last night, added 2 goals to that. Great exit pass out of the zone end by Jonathan Greenfield to get that goal for Mello, that second goal of the game last night. So we'll see if they can continue and build off that here tonight against the Tropics.
No Adriano DeSantos last night because of accumulated penalty points. He's back in the lineup tonight. No Dan Peruzzi for the Blast tonight. He had a big game last night with a goal off of a restart situation. But for the most part, the Blast kind of have found their groove. They found their players. They suffered a couple of injuries during the season, but they're pretty much getting set now for the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Diesel's going to get a chance to play tonight for the Blast. Diesel has been dealing with a hamstring injury since they signed him earlier this year. Looks like he's healthy now. Coach Danny Kelly wants to give him a shot tonight, and we'll see how he plays. And then the return of Dos Santos, the guy that's, he's not a huge scorer, Gary, but he's the guy that gets does all the dirty work, digs the ball out of the corners, makes the big plays defensively. He's back in the lineup for the Blast tonight.
Florida, coached by Clay Roberts, who won the championship with Philadelphia back in 2007, was a teammate, actually, of Tony Donatelli that year. Both of them won the championship. Blast, of course, coached by Danny Kelly, assisted by David Bascom. You know the Blast story. 7 straight appearances in the championship finals, 4 wins, 3 defeats. They just keep rolling on here in Baltimore.
It's just it's all about consistency, Gary. And look, Harrisburg last year had a great season, but they've struggled this year. It shows that it's hard. It's hard to win. It's harder to keep winning. And the fact that we talk about it all the time, they've been consistently in the championship game year after year after year after year. A huge credit to the organization.
well, good evening, everybody.
A little bit of a delay out on the field, so we'll keep it here with the Blast in Florida tonight. Let's check out some of the other games that are going on in the MASL. The Heat are at home tonight against the Syracuse Silver Knights. So either a Florida loss to the Blast tonight or a Syracuse win over Harrisburg will clinch the last playoff spot in the East for Syracuse. Also, Sonora and the Comets tonight out in Mexico.
School
You know,
students.
we should
We're
mention,
here
too,
with
it
us
is Hall of
tonight.
Fame night with
Oh,
Sagu.
Sagu, of course.
So proud of our
Great to
young
see him
people.
here up in the broadcast area before
Let,
the game.
let's do that.
Tonight
No, it is great. You know what? He looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I think you could go
Hasn't
out,
changed a bit.
go down to the locker room, put a jersey on, go out there, and let's
it's a
play,
night where
right?
we celebrate
If they wanted to
families,
sign him to a one-day contract, I
tonight
think he'd
where
be
we
ready to roll.
celebrate our young people.
Now, he did have some great years here with the Blast. He was part of 3 championship teams. That one year he was replaced by Sinaldo in the final because he, I think it was a groin or a hamstring. But the other 2 years, just stellar seasons, and really continued a great tradition of Blast goalkeepers going all the way back to the early days of this franchise with Chris Vaccaro and Joe Malia.
It's been pretty amazing how seamless the transitions have been. When you talk about going from one guy to the next, Scott Heilman after Vaccaro, and then Brett Phillips got into that mix, and then once Heilman and Phillips moved on, it was Sagu, and then Sagu was dominant for so long, and he's going to the Hall of Fame, and now from Sagu to William Vanzella, who may be the best of them all when we talk about goalkeepers. Still to be determined. He's got a long way to go, but from what he's accomplished in his first few years, well on his way.
And it was interesting that first year, Williams' first year was 12-13. That was the championship year. They beat Missouri in the final. He had trouble. We were actually talking about this before the game. He had trouble with his visa, I think, and he didn't really start the season.
Right, Troy Hernandez
started the season, and he was great. He was fine. I think he was 5-0. And then William gets into the mix, and
the
it was
rest is
kind of like,
history.
kind of like he Wally pipped him,
Guys, I'm back.
Oh, thank goodness.
Sorry about that.
I don't know what we would have done without you. I mean, we would have figured it out. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you. Somehow.
Anyway, so we took your part, Andrew.
Well, that's
Sorry.
all right. No, it's good.
What's going on down there?
Well, I tell you what, there's a huge crowd here tonight, and you saw how long it took as a delayed start time. Ton of fans here tonight. Sellout crowd at CQ Arena, and I think most of them were on the field for pregame ceremonies.
Peter Sliwa in goal for Florida tonight, 8-7 with a 6.05 goals against. Joey Capinos in goal for the Blast, 5-2, a 5 goals against and a 7.06 save percentage. Here we go now. Florida in white and the Blast in the home red. Both teams played last night. Both teams won. Here's Dantas right away, back post. Just a step behind was Juwan Pereira.
We're good to see Juwan up and running here to start this one after the leg injury and then the nasty fall over the boards last night.
Dantas inside, and a foul called as Sliwa goes down hard.
Dantas kicked through the ball and hit Sliwa right in the midsection. Completely unintentional, but he got him right in the thigh.
It'll be a free kick for Florida.
Real good start for the Blast. Dantas with a nice little move along the boards. And then the back post pass, but Pereira was just a bit late.
Blast over Milwaukee last night, 9-6. Getting out to a 3-0 lead early in the first quarter and basically holding serve after that. Milwaukee cut it to 2 a couple of times in the third and fourth, but every time the Blast seemed to have an answer. Play quickly up ahead. Hoxie with a right-footed boot.
And that was
just wide of the mark.
That was on target. That was a good save. Sliwa got a piece of that and knocked it up against the boards. Great outlet there by the Blast.
Blast have Florida on their heels for the moment early on.
Oh, and that was the thing last night, Gary. There's a Blast. Impressive from the beginning, right off the bat. Able to get some chances, finish their chances, and make it tough on Milwaukee right from the opening whistle.
Well, and
Blast.
it feeds into the style of play, Paul. When you get an early advantage, you can get the energy, you can get the high pressure going, and then it feeds on itself. It kind of becomes self-fulfilling. So that hot start is so important for the way the Blast play in this building.
Blast come away with the turnover here, and they send it back to the keeper, Capinos. Melo with 2 goals last night. DeSantos with a touch. He did not play last night. Jonathan Greenfield on the field, as well as Thomas, who comes off now. Hoxie stays on. Mike Diesel getting a shift. We'll see how and if he is able to come back from that hamstring.
Well, he only played 1 game so far this year before he got hurt. It was a home game where he came in. Blast were decimated by injuries. He stepped back in after a couple years away from the team.
John Orlando with an early shift, and he takes a spill. The foul is called on Florida.
A neat little give and go there, Gary, and Orlando was pushed to the ground off that give and go.
I talked to John yesterday as he's coming back from the injury, and we noted on the broadcast he was down a couple shifts last night, didn't play his usual shifts, and I think it's part of the strategy the team has in terms of getting him back in. It had been 5 weeks since he played a game, and so for him it was about getting back in game shape and kind of easing himself back in. And I expect to see good things from tonight as he goes back to back.
Orlando makes an entry inside the box, and that's denied by Florida. Nelson Santana now at the target position for the Blast. Neither Donatelli nor Dantas scored a goal last night of the 9 for the Blast, although Dantas did have 2 assists. Blast give it up at the yellow line.
We talked yesterday, Gary, during the broadcast about the Blast signing Jonathan Greenfield, and you looked at it, and the Blast have had injuries on the front line. They lost some forwards to go out, and Lucas Roque coming out. John Orlando gave him some of that scoring punch, but you wonder why you would sign somebody like Jonathan Greenfield when you have such a strong defense. Well, the reason you do that is because you're able to move somebody like Nelson Santana up to the point position, have a player of his skill level and experience to go up there. He's been playing defense here, but now he moves up to the point, and Jonathan Greenfield slides back into defense.
Victor Pereiras with a shot wide of the mark for Florida.
Yeah, not only that, Andrew, but Greenfield's a guy who's such great experience, knows where to be, right place, right time. That pass to Melo last night, just a veteran pass out of his own end, set up the goal. He just does so many little things well for you from that defensive position.
Well, it's one of those cases where you get the best player available. You don't say, oh, I need a forward, so I'm going to go out and get the best forward. So I'm going to go get the best soccer player that's going to fit on our team and play our say of soccer. And that's what the Blast do consistently.
Dantas with that quick turn off the target.
Sliwa was just huge there.
Oh, look at this. Oh, Sliwa huge again. As the pass from Greenfield was right on the mark to Dantas. Finally, the Blast convert. It's Melo inside the box.
Well, there he is again. Feed from Dantas. That's a beautiful pass from Dantas out of the corner there. After a couple don't go, a couple great saves by Sliwa. Third time's a charm for the Blast, and they're on the board.
That's the third goal Melo has in 2 nights that's been assisted by Dantas.
11 goals on the year for Melo, 24 points. That's a career-high number of points. He's 1 away from his career high in goals. And the assist goes to Vinny Dantas. That's his 3rd assist in 2 nights. Time of the goal, 3:59 of the first.
I tell you, Melo's getting a bunch of crap on his teammates. He tried to throw the T-shirt that's given away after the goal. Tried to throw it up into the second level and fell short. So a couple guys giving him lifting advice here. Strengthen up a little bit. Nelson telling him he's got to get in the weight room, getting that better.
Blast lost to Florida in Lakeland 5-4 on a goal with 19 seconds to play from Lucas Texera. They destroyed Florida here 10-1. Tony Donatelli with 5 points in that game. And then the next night they go to Florida and beat them 7-6. That was the game where Vanzella had 33 saves in 39 chances. Both career highs.
Delayed call there as the referees looked at each other. Handball call.
Did Florida really get that call? After everyone on the Tropics said something and then they finally blew the whistle when the ball went to the corner?
Well, I'll tell you this, Paul. Watch the Blast reaction. If the Blast didn't get upset there, my guess is that was probably a handball.
It was a handball. Dangerous spot here.
Saved by Capinos. It'll be a corner kick upcoming for Florida.
Corner kick, Florida.
This one blocked by Healy. Stays in play, and Capinos jumps high for it. Nice ball up ahead for Donatelli.
Florida not double teaming the target man so far.
Last night in a key situation, Leite gave Dantas a little bit too much room at the target, and that led to a goal. Good work here by Florida, but looks like Healy will backtrack and get a beat on it. Mello trying to win a ball along the boards.
Great play by the official there. Get out of the way, not impact the play. Appreciated the athleticism there.
Blast still buzzing around. Good work by Florida. Teixeira with a blast. That one wide. Pace very fast here in the first quarter.
A couple real nice exit passes out of their own end for Florida here, creating some chances.
Good work there by Guilherme. Monteleras with the steal in midfield, and that gives Florida possession. Santana will play it through. It's 2-on-1 and deflected away by Monteleras.
Great play there by Nelson Santana to use his body to screen the defender and get that breakaway. Just couldn't get the pass through. Handball.
Here's Coutinho for Florida, just off the crossbar. Good work by Coutinho to slip by Dantas. That one blocked by Rayleigh. Ball comes back to Pereira in the midfield. Pereira with the left. Read nicely by Sliwa.
Well, the other thing that blocking shots does in this arena, you saw it there, leads to scoring chances.
Deflections already back in midfield.
Was the door open down there when that happened? Ball got stuck in the door, I think, on the bench.
And finally a whistle with 7:32 left in the quarter. A timeout on the floor. Our score, Blast 1, Florida nothing.
Nothing feels better than when my Megabank treats me like a number.
Burned out by poor Megabank service? Life's better when you seek you. With a smile. With a friend. Any way you need. And wherever life takes you. So, do you seek you?
Stepping into the unknown, it can be difficult to find the way. But with the compassion and strength of a name and the security of the cross and shield, obstacles become openings. As we have for more than 75 years, we'll continue to light the way, using our knowledge to create new healthcare solutions, giving you the power to shine forward to whatever awaits tomorrow. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. Live fearless.
Back at you here from the CQ Arena. Blast leading the Florida Tropics 1-0 on a goal by John Mello, the assist to Dantas at the 3:59 mark. And the play has been very quick through the first 7.5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, Blast head coach Danny Kelly wanted to avoid an up-and-down game, wanted to win possession, and that was key tonight. A little different story than last night in Milwaukee. They really wanted to get out of their own end quickly and control play. Florida likes to run up and down the field.
Mauricio Salas trying to win a ball for Florida inside the Blast yellow line. Up ahead now for Thomas. Salas comes back on defense. Salas, one of their leading scorers, 18 goals, 9 assists on the year. Nice ball here on the near side for Teixeira. Here's Mujin into the corner, picked up by Greenfield. What a save by Capinos.
That's outstanding.
Shot was taken by Schlemper.
That quick turn, very tough to read sometimes for a goalkeeper. The ball comes off hot. Capinos right there to make the play.
And a nice outlet pass to Donatelli. Orlando trying to win a ball in midfield. It's picked up by Mujin.
Oh, we've already seen John more in this first quarter than we saw him all last night. So Obviously, that was the plan, was to work him in on the second night here, let him get his legs underneath. Hopefully he comes back to the player he was for that couple game stretch where he really lit the offense on fire. He was a spark plug.
Here's Capinos now with 6:20 left to play in the first. Nice ball. DeSantos up ahead for Orlando. Met up with Rodriguez. Here's the Diesel now. And that's a three-line violation against Capinos. It's hard not to have that happen in this building.
Well, in that scenario there, Capinos came out, and he and Diesel kind of miscommunicated too much, not enough spacing there, and then Capinos was forced to play it down the field, and that's what happens. You don't have the perfect touch, it's a three-line violation.
Salas hits that right into the wall. DeSantos will play it back to his goalkeeper. Orlando getting a lot of work early in this game. Oh, nice drag by DeSantos along the carpet. Up ahead for the Diesel.
A lot of early minutes for Mike Diesel, too. Coming in with the fresh legs.
Yeah, good to know if they can count on him for the playoffs, if necessary.
It's a bad giveaway there for the Blast in the midfield. You don't want to lose possession like that.
Rodriguez takes it away for Florida. And that one gets in there from midfield. Kind of scooted in off the post. And we're tied up at 1.
That's from midfield. Here's the replay, right inside midfield. And Joey just didn't read it right.
Well, I actually had that straight line down, and Joey couldn't see it at all. He had no idea it was coming until after it was already shot.
Texera gets the goal unassisted. 4th goal of the year, 7th point. Time of the goal, 10:04 of the first. It was a Texera goal, by the way, in Florida to beat the Blast 5-4 with 19 seconds left to go. Dantas had tied that one up with 1:12 left to go on a 6th attacker. And right now, we're tied at 1 here. Schlemper denied by Healy inside the box.
Florida has turned the tide since early on when the Blast really dominated the first few minutes. It's been all Florida lately.
Salas almost lost the ball to himself. Here's Ty Hall in the corner, picked up by Healy. And Rodriguez comes away with it. Good job by Florida here to keep the ball. That one held in along the boards, getting Thomas off the mark there. Healy rattles one along the glass. Held in by Monteleras. A shot, and that one wide.
Blast need to do something to change momentum here.
Donatelli kicks it out into space. Monteleras will send it back for Florida. And Monteleras away from the ball was spilled by Dantas, I believe. And that is Monteleras down on the floor.
Didn't see the play behind everything.
Looks like they just collided.
Did he collide? He's laying right on that seam. Did he get caught up in the seam?
No, I mean, then he hit him.
No, I
I
know
mean,
that, but
he
I'm just
ran
saying,
into
did
it.
his foot get caught up in that seam?
That's right.
And then when he makes the play, and nah, it looks like he just got tied up with Vinny, and then he came down hard on the knee. When he landed right on the knee.
Lucas Monteleras, number 90 for Florida. 22 blocks on the year. He's one of their more active defenders. This is a big team. They got a lot of big, strong players. Monteleras, Salas, Guilherme, Ty Hall. They're a physical team. Guilherme checks into the game for Monteleras. Free kick for Florida now. We're tied at 1 with 2:30 left to go. Pereira's trying to enter one inside. That is broken up by the blast. Here's Hoxie now for a shift. DeSantos back on for the blast. Leaves the pass up ahead for Hoxie. Did well to maintain possession for the blast. Into the corner now, Mello. Up ahead intended for Hoxie. That's kicked away by Guilherme.
Melo probably had the option of letting that one go and picking up the 3-line there.
Yeah, thinking that too. He was close.
DeSantos, that one will be too strong, and it's over the glass, or over the boards, I should say. And it's a kick in for Florida. 1:54 left to go in the first. We're tied at 1. Hoxie towards midfield. Pereira going to chase that. Sliwa gets there first, and here they come the other way. Guilherme with the right foot, that one wide. Mello with his back to the field. Florida doing a good job of running down balls in the corner and on the boards.
Blasts just aren't as sharp as they were last night.
Too strong for Pereira, and Florida has possession again. 2-on-2. Salas near post, and it's off the crossbar where it meets the post.
Pereira's coming off, hobbling as he collided with Lucas Contino. Blast just don't appear to have legs underneath of him right now.
Definitely getting outworked by Florida right now.
Last minute of play here in the first. Here's Erico off the board. Schlemper gets a foot on it and sends it back to the goalkeeper. Up ahead for Hall, picked up by Thomas. 45 seconds left in the first. Again, Florida winning the ball. 30 seconds left.
It's just not a good pass by Santana.
2 minutes, nope, just a foul. That'll be on Santana.
Tripping foul. Number 78, Nelson Santana. Free kick, Florida.
31 seconds left.
I thought that was a blue for sure.
I thought he was pulling it out.
He reached.
Tonight's officials, Ryan Sigich, Lance Van Heitzma, and Dustin Killick. Rich Barnes is the fourth official. Hall and Rayleigh in the corner. 15 seconds left.
Rayleigh versus 3. And there's Santana again, just not a good touch coming out of the midfield. Gives it right back.
Blast have not really had anything offensively since the first couple minutes. And a whistle here with about 3 seconds left in the quarter. And that'll do it here in the first quarter. So the Blast got off to a quick start. They led 1-0 after 4 minutes, but then Florida took control and were tied at 1 after the first 15. Back.
It's a great time to be a fan when you can come into Buffalo Wild Wings and catch the best moments in sports. Unlike in Roman times, when you could become the sport.
Is this section G?
I don't know.
I don't know. Ow.
Get the ultimate sports experience at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, Don, what's going on?
Jack, you haven't heard, the new building's done. It's beautiful. We moved in, and to celebrate this month, every car is posted on the internet at invoice. You keep the rebates, and we give you 125% of Kelley Blue Book. In addition, free loaner cars, car washes, manicures for the ladies, indoor patios, outdoor patios. What could be better?
Jack says yes to invoice pricing on Corollas. Jack says yes to invoice pricing on RAV4s. Jack says yes to invoice pricing on Camrys.
Yes!
Visit Antwerpen Toyota today.
Just underway here in the second quarter. Blast and Tropics are tied at 1.
Well, Blast have to regroup. Tropics outplayed them at the end of that
Wow,
quarter.
how about that?
There's a way to regroup.
That'll regroup.
Toss with an amazing pass to Donatelli, top of the box.
And Dantas becomes the distributor. That's 4 assists in the last 2 games.
We saw Max Ferdinand, the guy that's known around the league as the assist maker. I think Vinny's challenging him now.
Look at this pass. And look at that touch with the right foot by Donatelli. Time and space, top of the arc. 2-1 blast.
Time of the goal, 25 seconds of the second for Donatelli. That's his 21st goal, 41st point. For Dantas, his second assist, 35th point. Last lead at 2-1, just like that.
And there's Andrew Hoxie creating a turnover, getting pressure down.
First quarter stats, shots, Florida 8, Blast 5. Blast blocked 5 shots, Florida 1 in the first. Fouls, Blast committed 5, Santana with 2. Mello comes in on Sliwa. Oh, 2 saves by Sliwa.
Sliwa didn't save that. He saved his own life. Ball was going right for his face.
Oh, and on that one, somehow Hoxie puts it in the 5-hole.
There's nothing more frustrating as a keeper. 2 amazing saves. And then that last one, you just want it back.
And now he's hurt. He's down in the goal, and the trainer's going to Sliwa. He appears to be clutching either his shoulder or his head. I can't see. You guys probably have a better angle on what he's grabbing.
Looks like he's got his hands over his head. I don't know that he's clutching at this point, but now he's covered up. I really can't see it. Time of the goal, 1:02 of the second, a flurry by the Blast. Hoxie with the goal. That's number 14 on the year.
Well, that all started, Gary, with that great play by Hoxie on the restart. Forced the ball down in the corner and then forced the pressure on Florida. A couple turnovers, a couple nice saves, but eventually Hoxie was able to find the 5-hole and get the ball in the back of the net.
Now the trainer talking to Sliwa, like right out in front of him. And they're going to leave him in. I guess he passed the audition.
Yeah, he went to the concussion tent, was checked out, cleared by the concussion protocol, clearly.
Let's take a look and see when he may have gotten dinged up here.
Here's the sequence. Mello with the steal. Let's touch there just a little bit too far. Makes that play. And then this one right here.
This is the
follow-up. Oh, right in the face. Yeah.
So that's the one. I tell you what, you say nothing more frustrating for a goalkeeper.
And no wonder it went through the 5-hole. He's just trying to regather himself there.
Correct. I'll tell you what else is frustrating for a goalkeeper is getting pelted by shot after shot. Right? He made 2 big saves, and now all of a sudden he's got another shot coming at him.
This kind of reminds me of the game we played against Missouri, Kansas City earlier in the year, where their goalie got a little banged up in his head. It was a little dizzy. You saw he was out of sorts for the next 10, 15 minutes. The back picked up 3 or 4 quick goals against him. You wonder if that's going to happen now against Sliwa.
Well, you want to keep shooting the ball and see if he can make the saves. And remember, that's the game where Vanzella got hurt. And it was just one of the most bizarre games I've seen as far as a 6th attacker goes. And having to play goal.
15-8, the final in that game.
Pat Healy played goal for the Blast for 41 minutes.
I think it was like 12 to or 13 to 4 or 5 when they went to the 6th attacker. I mean, he only gave up 3 or 4 goals against the regulation offense, correct?
See who that's out off of. I believe it should be Orlando, I believe.
Now they're going to stay off the Blast, so it'll be top of the arc.
Top of the arc it is for Florida. That's a break in a 2-1 game.
Chance right away to get one back.
Capino's directing the wall. Salas, he'll hit it. Whoa! I don't really know if Capino saw it, but he did block it.
He's supposed to be there. I mean, you set your wall up so that you're there for the one space that isn't taken up by the wall, and that's where Capino's was, where he was supposed to be.
It's hard for me to think of a player in the MASL that has a harder leg, harder foot than Mauricio Salas.
He just crushes it.
That ball has no chance.
There's another unforced error, turnover by the Blast. That's kind of plagued them here in this first half.
Be interesting if the league ever gets back to the place where they have an all-star game. They used to do the mid-season all-star game. It'd be fun to see a skills competition with the hardest shot, because I agree with you. There's a couple guys that have good shots, but I bet you Salas at the top of that list.
He is right there. Look at this steal here, and the shot wide. Nice work here by Florida. Good read by Capinos, and it's out of bounds. Let's see which way. Oh, they say Florida touched it. Kick in blast. Florida has an issue with it. Salas and Musin. Musin, of course, played for the Blast. Salas has been a long-time opponent of the Blast. Nice play by Dantas to keep that from 3 lines. DeSantos finding a little crease. Coutinho for Florida. Up ahead off the boards, good work. And they'll possess with 11:50 left to go in the half.
Bad turnover there for Florida.
Off the boards, good idea, the give and go. Ball won by the Blast. Here's Dantas working hard, that one wide of the mark.
Dantas just ran through 2 defenders that time.
Held in by Pereira. Now the Blast will have possession. They have to chase it back, though. You're watching the Baltimore Blast on MASL TV. Catch every game each week on the league's official streaming home. That's MASL.tv. Thomas banged into the boards by the Florida defense. Free kick Blast.
This is going to be a good restart opportunity for the Blast right near the corner kick area.
They can get the ball through to Dos Santos. He's got some room if they can go across. It looks like Thomas is going to try and screen Teixeira to do that.
See if Donatelli tries to lift it to DeSantos. Nope, they go up top. Here's the counterattack by the Tropics. Up and over by Salas. It'll be a goal kick for Capinos. That one just a little bit out of frustration. The Blast would like to thank Meter USA for providing today's match balls. Meter, founded in Huddersfield, England, is among the world's oldest sporting goods brands, starting production in 1817. Meter is a proud partner of Major Arena Soccer League, providing arena-specific match balls to both the MASL and MASL 2.
That's now becoming a staple of the Blast distribution game, that throw it directly at Andrew Hoxie's chest and let him kind of shield it to one side or the other. And that time, he kind of got bodied away from it. But we saw that turn into a goal last game.
Yeah, well, that time he didn't get a chance to go one way or the other. He just kind of tried to play it for or down with his chest, and it didn't work out for him.
Salas off the boards to Coutinho. Capino still had a foot inside the box. There's a ball up ahead that plays out for Orlando. Nice step in by Musin in midfield, and the ball turns over to Florida. Erico up ahead on the far side for Teixeira.
ever since the Blast scored that third goal, talked about whether or not Sliwa, whether he was healthy, it hasn't mattered because Florida has controlled the possession since then. But Blast fundamentally sound defensively, not a whole lot of chances so far for the Tropics.
Sliwa towards the yellow line.
It's an interesting line for the Blast, as I believe the only two guys that tucked their shirt in the entire league were on for the Blast there. John Orlando and Jonathan Greenfield. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody tuck their shirt in before.
They're just very proper. And over the boards, it'll be a goal kick for Capinos. Capinos has now played the requisite number of games where he appears in the stats, in the league leaders, and he is in the top 6 in both goals against and save percentage, allowing an even 5 goals per game in his 7 starts for the Blast. He's 5-2. Good work by the Blast. Rayleigh in the corner. Getting there first, though, is Teixeira.
Again, great breakout for the Blast, but that last pass, just a stride too far.
And Tony missed the wrong side. If he had gone back behind, Juan Pereira was running unopposed the other direction.
Good ball here for Donatelli. Tony's got options. Oh, beautiful. Man. Right on the post for Santana, and he taps it in.
Well, that's about as pretty as it's going to get.
That'll also be the officials' timeout here.
Here you go. Great cutback by Donatelli. Great heads-up awareness to find Santana. And there's just nothing you could do about that.
Well, you could guard the guy, but yeah.
Yeah, but you get lost in the whole translation. 3-on-2, you got to be able to stop the ball first, right?
That is true. Timeout on the floor. Our score: Blast 4 and the Tropics 1. For 1 Blast as we return to the action here. 7:44 left. Santana with the goal for the Blast. That is his 5th of the year. And for Donatelli, another assist, number 21. He's got 42 points. And the Blast lead at 4-1. There's Sliwa sending it inside.
Sliwa doesn't have a shot yet tonight. Seems weird after last night.
Lemos last night was the leading shot maker. 7 minutes now left in the second half, or the second quarter, I should say.
See, I think that's a much smarter play from keepers in this arena. You don't want to shoot on goal. You want to, if you're going to come to the midfield stripe, drive the ball either to a teammate or drive it to the corner where one of your teammates can run it down. You're very rarely going to score from that midfield line.
There's some pressure from Florida on Capinos.
Not going to break
sure.
there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Rodriguez was doing there. Because I was, one, pretty close to being a 3-line pass, and 2, he just kicked it out of bounds. Big break for the Blast.
Orlando off the boards and over the boards. It'll be a free kick or a kick in for Florida.
There's the Diesel.
Yeah, there it is right
Yep,
there. Yep.
dug it out nicely. Here's the Diesel up ahead now for Hoxie. DeSantos joins the party.
I like that play. That's a handball.
No call.
No, advantage was called, or what happened there?
Good ball by Donatelli now for the Diesel. In the box, Hoxie! Kick save. Rebound for DeSantos. Tried to feed Orlando, and that one is blocked by Salas. Donatelli now turns.
Handball again.
And do they call this one? That is a foul on Guillerme.
Right now, Florida a little too aggressive with their pressure. They're getting caught up, 2 and 3 guys pressuring the ball. The Blast are doing a nice job using the boards to go around them and create odd man opportunities. The biggest thing, too, when you pressure, it's fun to pressure and try to get steals, but the hard work part is once you get beat, you have to work your way back and work hard to get back on D.
That'll stay with the Blast here on a kick in. 5:33 left in the second. Off to the races. Capinos. They had 2 chances. Blast dodge a bullet there, and now here's the counter.
I continue to say this. I just hate that play on the boards. Just kick the ball down the boards hard in this arena, and you just never know what's going to happen. Instead, Donatelli that time tries to go back to the middle of the field, and it ends up almost in a clear breakaway goal.
They'll give it up in the midfield. Here's the Blast now. And that one will be over off of Florida with 4:47 left in the half.
So we talked about the fact that both teams coming off games last night.
Just wide. Just put it on goal.
Or somewhere close or around the boards.
Both teams coming off games last night, but we haven't really touched on is Florida having to do that with a pretty short bench tonight. Only 13 players in uniform, one of them a goalie, so a 12-man rotation on the field. And for the Blast, they've kind of taken advantage of that early as everybody on the bench has rotated several times through. Haven't seen a guy not play tonight for the Blast so far, so that's something that'll show up late in the third and fourth quarter with the Florida having to travel, having the back-to-back games and the short bench. That's something the Blast are going to have to be able to take advantage of later in the game.
I think Nascimento is the swing guy tonight.
Good steal here by Florida. Blocked by Mello. Florida had a good 8 or 9 minutes there in the first quarter. They tied the game up, but they've had nothing here in the second. Turn, and I say that, and a great turn off the target, and it's 4-2. Diegues with the goal for the Tropics.
Here you go, just a great spin, top of the box. Gets some room on Greenfield on the spin, uses the left foot to score, and Tropics back on the board.
Tommy, the goal is 11:09 of the second. For Diegues, that is goal number 26. He is tied for 8th in the league in goals, and now he's moved off that tie. That's 41 points on the season for Ricardo Diegues. And the assist goes to Monteleras.
Jamie Thomas. These boards still have weird bounces on them. They haven't really settled in. I think it's because they're not standing up long. They get assembled before every game. And that ball should have come out much farther and much deeper to Jamie Thomas instead of rode the boards. Tough to figure out.
Here's Hall in the corner, picked up by the Diesel. Saved by Capinos on the near post. Healy leaves one up ahead for Dantas. Salas will win that one. Oh, that's a mistake. I thought Healy had a chance at that. Donatelli tries to lift one, and it's patted away by Sliwa.
That's one of those, not a lot of pace for Donatelli, but well meant.
Oh, no, it's so much swerve on him.
Had his eye on that top corner, and Sliwa just got a hand on it.
.230 now left to go. Orlando go with a chance. And he is bumped from behind by Guilherme. Teams will change here, at least Florida will.
Florida has got to do a better job defensively of understanding where their guys are and not losing runners.
Here's a chance for Victor Pereiras and a rebound and a score. And it's a 4-3 game.
Great finish by Muja in there.
Amazing the way how quick this game could change. Time of the goal, 12:50 of the second. And the assist goes to Pereiras. For Mujin, goal number 18, point number 30. For Pereiras, that is assist number 11, point number 23. And a timeout on the field. We'll keep it here with 2:10 left to play in the second. It was 4-1 Blast, Paul, and now 2 quick goals by Florida has made it a 1-goal game.
2 goals in a minute and 41 seconds. And give Florida credit. After the Blast scored, they kind of controlled play again. They got the goal from Santana on the nice feed from Donatelli. But since then, it's been all Florida. And they've responded here at the end of the second quarter.
So the Blast lead at 4-3. And pressure right off the kickoff. Diegues. And Salas sends it back to Capinos. Nice ball up ahead for Greenfield. He slips inside a man, tries to find Hoxie. That's broken up by Salas. Blast, though, controlling the boards. And now all of a sudden Florida's got some legs and they're putting pressure on the ball. Pereira.
Pretty good footwork there from Juwan.
DeSantos with the step over. Ball is loose.
How did that not go in?
Taken away by Greenfield. No call. 1:20 left in the half. Up ahead now for Hoxie.
Man, how about that move from Juwan? Put him on his butt.
Yeah, that was nice. Here's Mello towards the goal. That one wide. 45 seconds left. Pressure from the Diesel.
Good pass.
Inside, Hoxie lifted past the keeper. That's a big goal with less than a minute to go.
All started with Mello. Great pass. The hockey assist again from Mello in the midfield. Great feed by Dos Santos to the box. And again, Florida losing track of their mark. Right here, Hoxie finds time and space. No chance for Sliwa. 5-3 Blast.
That's 2 for Hoxie tonight. 15 on the year. DeSantos gets the assist. And for Adriano, number 14, point number 21. Time of the goal, 14:22 of the half.
Assist to number 12, Adriano Dos Santos. Time on the last fifth goal, 14-22. Last goal scored.
3 line.
Yeah.
His second goal of the evening.
Great job
Blast with
of the
another chance.
fourth official there to call that.
And I think Tony Donatelli was trying to help him too.
Well, he was, and then Ryan Sidrick looked over because he looked over when he saw it, and he looked over the third official, and he had it marked up right away to help him. It's 3 times in the last 2 games. We've talked about it and gotten it right.
Ball still in playoff with Healy's head. Teixeira will send it back towards the middle of the field. And the Blast will have another chance with 12 and a half seconds left in the half. Kick in Blast now, 7 and a half seconds left. And that should do it here in the first half. So the Blast get a big goal from Andrew Hoxie late with 38 seconds left to play in the half. And the Blast take a 5-3 lead into the break.
That's a big momentum goal. We'll see if that carries over. But pretty good, entertaining first half of soccer. And a special tribute Hall of Fame night here at halftime for the Blast.
Halftime ceremony for Sagu, who will enter the Blast Hall of Fame. And hopefully we'll have the great goalkeeper with us on the air after that. Timeout on the field. Our score, Blast 5, Tropics 3.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
at the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very special halftime induction ceremony where we're going to be inducting the 23rd member to the Baltimore Blast Hall of Fame. Before we do that, I'd like to introduce some very special guests that are on the dossier tonight. They include Blast President and GM Kevin Healy. Blast Hall of Famer and former goalkeeper Chris Vaccaro. And who could forget number 15 forward Adato Neto. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we honor our 23rd member, Sagu. Let me mention just some of the Baltimore Blast accomplishments that Sagu had achieved since being acquired from the Baltimore Blast in a trade in 2004. He was four-time Goalkeeper of the Year, a member of 3 Blast championship teams, 2009 MISL championship
And welcome into the CQ Arena in Towson, Maryland, just north of Baltimore. The Major Arena Soccer League is on the air. Florida Tropics take on the Baltimore Blast tonight. Gary Stein, Paul Mittelmeyer, Andrew Primrose with you as the Blast try to clinch home field advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs, and the Tropics try to stay in playoff contention tonight. Paul, both teams are 16-4. Or I should say the Blast is 16-4. Florida, though, 10-9, and they really need this one to stay in contention.
Well, you know, Florida needs this game. Blast want this game, obviously, to clinch that Eastern Conference championship if they get that far in this year's playoffs. So, yeah, it's a much bigger game for Florida. Big game last night for the Blast, 9-6 win over Milwaukee to get the upper hand. And as Danny Kelly said in the locker room before the game, do not give up what you earned last night by not taking Florida seriously here tonight.
And what did they earn last night? Let's go downfield. Andrew Primrose standing by for a little more on last night's game. Andrew?
Well, guys,
That's right now. We ask you to check out Blast Nation for tonight's starting lineup. Brought to you by Rosedale Roofing. Starting on defense, number 9, Pat Billy. On defense, number 13, Jeremy Riley. Starting in midfield, number 11, Tony Donatelli. Starting in forward, number 22, Joan Pereira.
Players to watch tonight for Florida include...
Yeah, we'll get back to Andrew. So you have a technical problem with Andrew down on the field. We'll get that straightened out.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams, I mean, you know, despite the records, Florida and the Blast have played 3 times. They played the Blast tough. There was a 10-1 game here, but there have been 2 one-goal games between the teams.
You know, when there's been equal opportunity as far as rest and equal, one team playing the same time as the other team, but I mean by that, the 10-1 game here, Florida played the night before. Blast waited for them. They came here right away earlier the next day, and the Blast kind of ran them out of the building. So I expect it to be a much better game here at CQ the second time around.
Some key players to watch out for tonight, Mauricio Salas and Ricardo Dieguez. They had big games last night against Harrisburg as Florida kept alive its playoff hopes by beating the Heat 6 points for both of those players, 4 goals and 2 assists apiece. Big last night for the Blast, and they had balanced scoring all night. 8 players scored, but John Mello came up with 2 goals, and Joey Capinos, in place of William Vanzella, came up huge in the fourth quarter.
Joey had some big saves in that fourth quarter at key crucial moments, and Jonathan Mello's done a nice job of embracing that role of the outlet midfielder, and even in addition to that last night, added 2 goals to that. Great exit pass out of his own end by Jonathan Greenfield to get that goal for Mello, that second goal of the game last night. So we'll see if they can continue and build off that here tonight against the Tropics.
No Adriano DeSantos.
Everything, thank you, blessed family. I love you guys for forever. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the newest member of the Baltimore Blast Hall of Fame, number 1, Sagu! And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to look above the players' benches as we unfurl the Hall of Fame banner, adding Sagu to this great list of Blast and Spirit players. Unfurl the banner! There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the Baltimore Blast Hall of Fame, Sagu!
There's a look at your first half highlights here as the Blast have taken a 5-3 lead on Florida.
Yeah, great strike by Donatelli there from Dantas to give the Blast a lead 2-1. And then Hoxie through the 5-hole there after Sliwa had take one in the head. And then here's Donatelli, great feed for Santana with the quick touch and goal. Blast were in control, but here comes Florida. Diegas makes it 4-2. And then just moments later, Freddie Mujan scores to make it 4-3. But a big goal for the Blast at the end of the half. Great touch, Dos Santos for Hoxie in the box. And Andrew finishes with the right foot. 5-3 Blast. The Blast are 30 minutes from the Eastern Conference Championships going through Baltimore.
This is true. Blast getting goals in the first half from Mello, Donatelli, Hoxie twice, and Santana. Florida goals from Teixeira, Diegas, and Mujan. First half stats, shots, 16 Florida, 14 the Blast. Blast have blocked 7 shots, Florida 3. Fouls, 6-4 Blast. Saves, Sliwa 6 saves in 11 chances, and Capino 6 saves in 9 chances. 5-3 Blast at the half. There's a whistle, and here we go. Third quarter action with the Tropics trailing by 2. They wanted a handball call there.
There it is.
Yep. This one off the chest of Dantas.
Well, again, you might want a handball, but you got to keep playing. And because they didn't, Donatelli got a step, and it almost led to a Blast goal.
It'll be free kick Blast in the corner. Donatelli moved off by the Florida defense, and now here they come, but Healy covers up for the Blast. And that'll be up and over off of Monteleras. It'll be a kick-in Blast.
Another restart here in a good spot for the Blast.
I think this might be even a better spot, even though it's further down. It gives them a little room to get it through.
Healy keeps it alive for the Blast, up ahead for Greenfield. Capinos catches it inside the box. Pereira putting on some wheels. And he is interrupted on the sideline. It'll be a free kick for the Blast. That foul called on Teixeira. At the target is Hoxie, leaves it for Mello.
A little bit behind him, but the Blast get a break as Florida kicks it into the bench.
Kick in Blast.
Actually, probably could have been top of the arc.
That should be there, right?
That will be top of the arc. Well, let's see. Is it kick in or?
No, it is.
No, it's top of the arc.
Top of the
He
arc.
called it.
Okay.
Let's go, Blast! Let's go, Blast! Let's go, Blast!
Adriano just tried to mess with an official that's reffing his first game here today. He tried to get it moved up to the old arc. Get inches there. It's pretty funny.
Off the boards in the box for Dos Santos. I thought they had Hoxie open on the restart. Could have slid it towards him. Blast maintain control here, about a minute and a half into the third.
I think Vinny might be good at that.
blew a tire, though.
And they still got it through.
Do you think he's good at soccer, just in general?
I think he might have a future in this sport. Young guy that might make it in this league.
Kind of like the internet, right? It's got a chance.
I hear good things.
Nobody covering Hoxie for a second.
Orlando winning that.
Oh, in the face again.
Wow.
It's a rough night for Sliwa right now.
That's going to leave a mark, guys.
How about that move by Orlando? Little nutmeg.
I think we ought to take our time here with Sliwa.
And then here it is.
Oh. That's even worse the second time.
And the fact that it's 2.
I think we got to take our time here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing funny about that. I mean, that's a brutal blow to the head.
Mujin and Rodriguez obviously concerned. Point blank range, too. He was right. And then you're right, Paul. That was a great move to get there. He's going to stay in. Peter Sliwa, a native of Poland. Played with Ontario, as did Joey Capinos, by the way.
Yeah, I tell you, it's just, that's the big thing about this arena. The ball gets on you
right
so
on you.
quick.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, this may sound crazy, but you know, the Chelsea goalkeeper, Peter Cech, wore a face guard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is it out of the question?
I don't think so. Goalkeeper's going to hate that.
But I mean, it's a safety issue.
Not sure why they're dropping the ball. I mean,
Florida's going to send it back down. Good sportsmanship there.
5-3. Oh, we got a special guest joining us here tonight. What a treat. Here's Mello with a shot and a save. The rebound, and that one just wide. And out of bounds off of Pereira. Joining us now, Sagu. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, you're good. Okay.
Up here a little bit.
Yeah.
My friend, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Kay. Thank you very much.
You haven't changed one bit.
Oh, you think so?
He can still play, right? And hang
No,
on a sec.
I mean-
Hang on a second. I'm going to give Sagu my mic because I think we're having trouble.
Okay. Hold on. You look exactly the same.
Oh, yeah, no, we look at the same. We look the same, you know, we look the same. Thank you, thank you.
It is
Gary.
great to see you. Congratulations. What a great night for you. How do you feel?
I feel great, you know, like I did everything I supposed to do in the blast, you know, in the past, you know. Always I come to Baltimore, I remember a lot of things in my mind, you know. It's a great moment, you know, like all my life over here. I have to say thank you for the Baltimore Blast for having me here. You know, thank you for having my name in the Wall of Fame now.
When did you find out that you were selected?
2 weeks ago, you know, Mike Conway texted me and said, Sagu, you still have the same number? I said, yes. After that, Kevin Healy called me together with Ed Hell. Ed Hell tell me, hey, you guys selection for me like on the Wall of Fame. I said, oh, thank you very much. You know, the celebration going to be in 2 weekends. I say, I'm going to be there for sure. You know what I mean? Always, you know.
That is fabulous. Sagu joining us, one of the great goalkeepers in Blast history. And, you know, that's one of the things, and I think we actually may have talked about this back in the day, but when you came to the Blast, I guess it was the 2005-06 season as Florida scores a goal here to make it 5-4. Freddie Mujin scores. Time of the goal is 3:33 of the third quarter, and that is Mujin's second goal of the night, and so that makes it 5-4 Blast. But we had talked, Sagu, just the long tradition of Blast goalkeepers. You know, Chris Vaccaro was here tonight, and he was one of your predecessors. And then William Vanzello succeeded you here in Baltimore. just we seem to have had a transition from one great goalkeeper to another in this town.
Yeah, this is like blessed having always like having really good luck, you know, because I have really good goalkeepers over here, come over here. Now you see William do a great job over here, you know, like these 2 past years, like I have 2 championship, been to Baltimore. You know, Chris Vaccaro is like, you know, is the best, one of the best goalkeeper in indoor soccer. You know, I think like the Braves have traditional, you know, for having great goalkeepers over here.
You were a member of 3 championship teams and just great teams in general. When you think back on your career, what are the first things that you think of?
I think like for me is the best thing. Step inside this arena over here, it give you everything. This for me the best thing. See all these fans here, cheer for you, you know. This for me is the best thing in my life.
So every game was special, like every opportunity that you had to come out on the field?
Every game for me is the final. I play every single game. For me, I look like a final, you know. Especially for goalkeeper. Goalkeepers don't have fun. Goalkeeper, every game you have to do your job, because if you make a mistake, guess what? The ball gonna be inside the net.
Right.
So you have to come in here, you do your best. You know, step aside the field, you're never gonna have fun.
This one up and over, it'll be a goal kick upcoming for Sliwa. So let me ask you, when you played for the Blast, and pretty much all the arenas in the league were regulation size, you know, 195 feet, whatever it was, etc. You come into this building, this is probably your first time in this building, watching the game on this field. Obviously, it's a lot shorter, 50 feet shorter. From a goalkeeper's perspective, would you have liked to have played on this field, or would you have preferred to play on the larger field?
For me, I prefer a little bit larger field.
Larger,
yes, because a goalkeeper here always gonna have the ball in your face, you know, because it's short. It look like futsal, you know. I think it's a little bit of the same size the futsal field, but it's great. For me, it's great because the arena is really compact. It's a little bit short, but it's wide. I think, you know, it's a little wide, you know. I think like for goalkeeper, it's a little bit busy.
Sagu was inducted into the Blast Hall of Fame tonight, in case you missed the halftime ceremonies. The 13th, I believe, you know, it's got to be more than that now. I don't know, maybe the 15th or 16th player to go in. Sagu, one of the great goalkeepers in Blast history. Final question, just catching up with you. What are you up to these days, and what's life after indoor soccer for you like?
I come back to Dallas, you know, like always I told you, like because the weather over there, you can coach all year out outside. Yeah. You know, now I have Sagu Goalkeeper Academy. I work in the soccer club called Sting Soccer Club in Dallas. You know, I have 2 little kids. I have my boy like 2 years old, 2 and a half, and my daughter 4 years old. My life changed a lot, you know. And this I do right now in Dallas. You know, I teach like high school a little bit, goalkeepers too. I just have a goalkeeper academy over there. He's still working soccer.
So you're basically coaching and mentoring now. My question is, do you miss playing?
Oh my gosh. Always. Yeah. When I come here, when you step inside the arena, I see all these fans, all you see like the red, white, you know, there's a lot of things coming to my mind again.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Gary.
You are the best.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Paul.
That is Sagu, one of the greats. I mean, not only on the field.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Paul, and I'm going to say this, and I would have said it to Sagu. One of the greats, not only on the field, but off the field.
It's amazing the contributions that this team has gotten in the community from all of their goalkeepers when you go all the way down the line. Amazing.
I remember my first year here, Sagu. I went and asked him, had to play in the media game at halftime, asked for a pair of gloves to wear during the game. He provided them to me and kept giving them to me every year after that, had them ready for me the rest of the years. Great guy.
How did that not go in?
Great defensive play there by Florida to keep it in, or to keep it out, I should say. You know, I'll never forget on that plane ride home from St. Louis, Paul, when the Blast won the 06 championship on the Millwood Golden Goal. I'm sitting right between, actually, Sagu and Neto on the, you know, in the airport. And Neto's holding that trophy. And he was just saying, you know, we got to try to keep this team together. We're all like brothers. And that really was. I mean, that really was true about that team. It was Gonzaga and Neto. There's a try, and out in front, Donatelli can't convert.
Tony just mishit that. Tap in. I'll tell you what, that championship, that's about as good as you can play. And I'm talking about Brett Phillips, who played against the Blast.
Against the Blast, right.
That's about as good as you can play without winning I've ever seen from a goalkeeper.
In the second game before the golden goal, Phillips, the final was 3-1. Kelly scored the only goal for the Blast. I don't think I may have ever seen a better game played than a goalkeeper than Fred Phillips did in that game. And then the Blast win it on a Millwood goal from Salenza in the golden goal. There's a foul called on Florida deep. Free kick Blast now with 8 minutes to go in a 5-4 game. This is quite a match.
Blast missing out on a couple great chances to retake that 2-goal lead.
Acrobatic play by Santana. And Mugen got involved.
He got Freddie. I think he got Freddie on the bicycle kick in the face. And he's bleeding. Yeah.
From the nose. And it's on the floor. Let's take a look. Oh, the ball got him, I think.
Oh, no, you were...
I think Santana kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
He did, okay.
This will be the officials' timeout as well.
Wow, Trainer's seen a lot of action here for Florida in this game. Twice had to come out for Sliwa. Now he comes out for Mugen. We still have 7:57 left in the third. We'll step aside as they tend to Mugen in a 5-4 game. $7:57 left in this one, and Freddie Mugen has gone to the bench. I would say it would be unlikely we'd see him again.
Oh, we'll see. Get that nosebleed stopped.
Yeah, if it's not broken.
And they were actually, well, I mean, even with it broken, they were actually looking for a new jersey, so.
It'll be a goal kick for Sliwa. Blast on top of the Tropics 5-4. Blast led 5-3 at the half, but Mugen, who just got hurt, scored a goal at the 3:33 mark
That was a restart inside the yellow line. He just ripped it from the boards.
And here's Florida back on the attack again, but it's over the boards off the Blast. It'll be free kick Florida.
Same spot here.
There's pressure from Dantas.
Creates the turnover.
Then he got a turn. Good save by Sliwa, middle of the box. And Thomas gets called for the foul here. And a blue card. Thomas for boarding.
There you go.
Well, I mean, it can't be boarding because he never went into the boards.
2 minutes for pushing.
Pushing. 2 minutes for pushing. Time of the penalty, 7:30 of the third. Power play upcoming now for Florida.
Well,
not a great power play team, by the way. Only 8 for 21.
The problem you have as an official, if you make that call, is you really set a precedent for starting to call penalties. Because what becomes a penalty at that point if that's a penalty, you know?
Well, I'll tell you guys, my guess is that penalty is the result of the blow to the head of Freddie Mugen on the bicycle kick. Florida was unhappy at that point. And I think that's one of those ones where Ryan Sidgwick is trying to say, we're going to stay in control of this game and staying on top of it without letting it get out of hand. And so I think it was less that individual foul, more the accumulation of the way the game was going.
Gotcha. Fair point.
Own goal off of Santana. That's karma.
Well, Salas will probably get credit for that.
We're tied at 5 with 6:52 left in the third. Time of the goal, 8:08. And it is credited to Salas. They're giving the assist to Pereira, I'm not sure how.
Well, deflection, not off of Santana, but a deflection, so they'll give the assist on that.
So they're saying it would have gone in?
Yeah, Nelson didn't kick it into his, or he wasn't responsible for putting it in his own goal. It just deflected off of it.
19th goal of the year for Salas. For Pereira, that's his second assist. He's got 12. And we have a knot at 5. There's Hoxie now for the blast. As Florida has scored 2 goals in a row here in the third to tie it up. A win by Florida tonight, and they're still alive in the race to the playoffs in the MASL. But the magic number remains 1 for Syracuse. That's either 1 more Florida loss or 1 Syracuse win.
Rodriguez throws Orlando down to the ground off the play.
Referees give the blast a break on that one.
Oh.
Sliwa with a big paw as DeSantos was trying to push it ahead for Orlando.
Man, game of inches tonight. Blasts have been inches away from 2 or 3 goals.
We see John Orlando laboring right now. Long shift, third quarter, first game back, second game back. He's spent.
He's covering a lot of ground. Pereira will chase here.
I know we're a long way away from this as a league, but it'd be neat to see, like the NFL instituted the tracking, where they follow the players. It'd be fun to watch these guys, the amount of mileage.
Look at this. The Florida Tropics have come back in the third quarter, and they've taken the lead on the blast, 6-5.
Well, Pereira's that time. After the assist on the last goal, he just comes down the wing and rifles this one into the back of the net.
That goal is unassisted. For Pereira's, it's a 3-point night. 1 goal, 2 assists. He's got 25 on the year.
And all of those blast missed opportunities are coming back to haunt him right now. Down by 1.
This is the first lead for Florida tonight. Blast now trying to work from behind. Healy in the corner with Coutinho. Blast trying to set it up here for Dantas. Quick double team on him. Well done by the Tropics. Nice save by Pepinos. But sent back in by Monteleras for Florida. Dantas trying to get free. Ty Hall is there for protection. Then Sliwa will roll it out to Hall here on the near side. Another one-goal game for the Blast. They played 12. They're 9-3 in one-goal games. They're unbeaten at home. They're 5-0.
Greatest home field advantage of professional sports history. Intact.
Oh, just wide. May have hit the post from Guilherme. Melo trying to take on Salas.
Blast clear to get a chance. Change, guys. Still looking for their what? Looking for their first goal this half, right?
Correct. Arico hits one off the boards. Not much there.
Giveaway and a goal.
And now it's 4 in a row for the Florida Tropics. Seven 5 Florida. Let's take a look.
Blast just out of sorts. You know, just a bad turnover there.
That is a 2-goal night for Diegas. 4 points. And Arico gets the assist. Let's see what the Blast have left in the tank here with 2:31 left in the third. Plenty of time. Blast had a 4-1 lead midway through the second. And since that time, they've been outscored 6-1.
And that only goal there, Hoxie's goal late in the second quarter. Other than that, that last 7 minutes of the second quarter and now out here in the third, you know, it's not like the Blast hasn't had chances. They just haven't finished.
They had a few last night they didn't finish, but they had many more that they did.
Well, guys, I was just taking a look, and since the game on January 19th where William went out, the most goals the Blast have given up was an 8-7 home win over Syracuse. They gave up 7 goals in that game, and here we are, 7 goals allowed so far with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. So Joey Capinas hasn't given up more than 7 goals since he came in as the Blast starter, and in danger of doing that tonight.
A lot of breakdowns in front of Capinos tonight. So Sliwa gets dinged up twice in the head. Play is stopped both times. Mujin gets one in the nose.
And speaking of Mujin, back on the field.
Yeah, there he is. Right in the middle, right in the circle.
He's wearing number 2 now on your screen. To switch the jersey with the blood on his.
That one cleared away, and Healy now sending it back towards the goalkeeper. Hoxie trying to settle the ball with Orlando. Blast are just missing these opportunities.
Wow. And they're just a little out of sync. Just not as sharp as last night. Little splits, split second decisions that make the difference.
Well, when your legs aren't underneath of you, it's hard to do those things. The half a step that your legs aren't underneath you.
Now Greenfield bashing into his own goalkeeper. Here's the play, chested from DeSantos. And trying to fly in there was Orlando, and that's well defended again by Florida. Santana for Orlando. He's got a runner. That one wide of the mark. Santana, or I should say Orlando falls down. Coming up on the 1 minute mark here in the third.
Last minute of play in the quarter.
Donatelli looking for Dantas to cuts and instead plays it right to the keeper.
Dantas couldn't hold on to it in the midfield, so it's back to Capinos. That ball is still in play. Pereira with Ty Hall. The Diesel on for a shift, 20 seconds left. Pereira working hard in the corner, not a lot there. Keeper makes a play, 9 seconds to go. Hall pushed down by Pereira, who says he held me first. It'll be free kick Florida with 6.8 left to go. And that'll do it here in the third quarter. The Florida Tropics come into Baltimore and control the third quarter against the Blast, outscoring the Baltimore Blast 4-0 in the quarter to take a 7-5 lead after 3.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
7-5 Florida after 3 quarters here at CQ Arena. The Blast led 5-3 at the half. Florida got 4 goals. Mujin, Salas, Pereiras, and Diegas, all within a period of about 9 minutes. In that third quarter, they controlled play. Blast had a couple of defensive breakdowns in front of Capinos. Santana deflected one in. The Blast have to figure out how to get back in this game.
Well, the Salas goal was, what, a restart goal? Or check that. The Mujin goal was a restart goal. I think the Salas goal was a power play goal. And then Pereiras with the rifle. And then Diegas, the turnover for the Blast in their own end.
That Salas power play goal was only their 9th power play goal all year. Stats after 3 quarters, Blast 26 shots, Florida 23. The blocks are even at 8. Fouls, 8-7 Blast. Sliwa has made 13 saves in 18 chances. He's played extremely well and he's gotten banged up. Capinos has made 8 saves in 15 chances.
Yeah, it's a rough night when you make 2 of their saves with your face.
That is true.
But he's played well.
Final 15, Blast trying to fight back from a 2-goal deficit.
I'm expecting the Blast will get chances here in the fourth quarter.
Nice move by Pereira to get by Teixeira. Just wide of Hoxie on the back post. There's Hoxie almost heals that one in. Rayleigh with a shot. Saved by Sliwa, number 14.
There's 3 chances already.
Well, they came out with a lot of vigor, no doubt about it. Hoxie now with Pereiras. Off the boards, in the box, and it's in! Sliwa couldn't hold it, and Hoxie makes it a 1-goal game.
Picks up the hat trick for the big guy.
Tough break for Sliwa there. Too much traffic inside. He had a lot going on in front of him, and he just kind of lost track of the ball. Here's the replay. Good turn and a deflection, and he just kind of loses track. Rayleigh's in there, right near him, kind of in his vision, and he just loses track of the ball, gets between his legs, and they score.
It is a 3-goal night for Andrew Hoxie, giving him 16 on the year. I believe that's his first hat trick of the season. Time when they go 43 seconds of the fourth.
Oh, okay. They're saying Rayleigh gets that one.
Assist.
I'll tell you, Melo's over here advocating me for the assist. I'm like, I have nothing to do with that, man.
I don't think there's any chance that Rayleigh scored that goal.
Saved by Capinos. Here comes Greenfield. Now Cemento is out there for the Blast. Not seen a lot of him tonight.
I think this is the first time we've seen him tonight.
Fresh legs here in the fourth. Let's see what kind of difference maker that can be.
And he's off.
Quick shift. The Diesel back on along with Orlando and Dantas. Rodriguez for Florida. Melo will pressure that. Oh, there's a nice steal. Oh, and they call a foul on Orlando.
There's a replay.
Oh, and then the huge break there is the ball's misspotted by a good 3 or 4 feet after the foul was called, so it enables it to be in front of the yellow line. As that ball was clearly several feet behind the line, and the restart set up in front of the line, allowing Florida to clear it into in the offensive zone.
Hall and DeSantos in the corner. That would be a foul called on Ty Hall. Free kick Blast with 12:25 left in a 1-goal game.
That's 3 lines. Oh, no, good job.
Hoxie saves it. Now they call it.
It was close. Hoxie was straddling the yellow line when he made that play. The Blast have had Florida on their heels to start this fourth quarter. A goal here would be a crusher.
Well, Salas or Freddie are shooting here.
I don't
Salas.
think I've ever seen a free kick that Salas has taken where he hasn't shot.
A 3-on-2.
Hoxie. Whoa. Sliwa gets a hand on it.
Wow.
That would have been a goal.
Deflected, and then Sliwa with the hand just parries it off the crossbar. Been that kind of night.
Pressure from Florida. And they create the turnover. Rodriguez for Salas, that's too far. Pereira will pressure that. Nice move by Sliwa. Good work by Rayleigh to let that one go along the boards.
Nascimento back out with the fresh legs in the fourth quarter.
That's 3.
Two quick 3-line violations against the Blast here in the fourth.
Salas not out on the field, so Mujin will preside.
Nice by Capinos. Healy combining with Capinos for the stop. Here comes Rayleigh out of the back for the Blast. A back heel by Donatelli. Nascimento tried for a slider. Healy going to try to control it. It's going to be out off Florida. Kick in for Donatelli. 10:22 left in a 1-goal game. Blast still control the ball. Nascimento trying to turn on it. Donatelli runs right onto it.
See, that's not a bad shot. You keep it on, you keep it in the arena. Even if it hits the boards, it comes back out hot, and you get the ball back.
Blast will dump and chase that. Greenfield, good work. There's Thomas now, back it out. Blast have held the ball for about a minute and a half here. It's pretty impressive on a field like this.
That's what Danny Kelly wanted. He wanted long possessions, hoping that Florida would lose track of their men and they could get an open look.
Thomas from Donatelli. Erico got involved. Salas got involved. Diesel sends one in for Dantas.
Again, no double.
Blast have had it since the 10:30 mark. No more, 11:30. Going on 3 minutes now. Blast still control it with 8:30 left. And finally, Sliwa has it for Florida. Mello comes free through the box. That was blocked by the Florida defense. Well done by Rodriguez. And now a whistle here on the near side. It'll be free kick Blast on the foul.
Here's the replay.
Healy on a back heel from Hoxie. Well done by Donatelli. Healy tripped up by Salas.
Well, Blast owned the possession time, but they haven't found the equalizer yet.
They've had it for 4 minutes and 7 seconds.
Just back the wall about 9 yards.
Donatelli off the head of Salas.
That was kind of a funny one, as we'll see the officials time out here. That was a funny one, as Pat Healy was saying, I didn't ask for 5 yards. He wanted the quick restart, and Sidjic was saying, wait for the whistle. And Pat goes, I didn't ask for it.
We'll step aside here with 7:20 left in the fourth. Tropics 7.
Every day, all across Maryland, we help employers keep workers safe from accidents and injuries. We're Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. At Chesapeake Employers, workers' compensation insurance and workplace safety have been our mission and passion for 100 years, and will be for 100 more. We help protect Maryland workers because
At the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
connect with your local agent or visit us online.
Back at the CQ Arena, Gary Stein, Paul Mittermeyer, and Andrew Primrose with you. Florida 7, Blast 6, 7:20 left in the fourth. Crowd enjoying it here tonight at the CQ Arena. It's the final home game for the Blast. Corner kick here for the Blast. Towards the box, that's blocked by Rodriguez. The counterattack by Florida. Hoxie has to step back for that one. Here's trouble. Hoxie out in front, they score! Pereira heels it in.
A lot of effort from Andrew Hoxie to drive that through and get in a position where Pereira can knock it back. Hoxie's having a great game tonight.
Well, I thought Slee was a little too nonchalant there. He just allowed the ball to come free, and Pereira makes him pay.
3 ties, 2 lead changes in this game. Juwan Pereira with the goal. th goal of the year for Juwan Pereira. Hoxie with the assist. It's a 4-point night for Andrew Hoxie.
So finally, the constant pressure pays off for the Blast.
Thomas trying to work between 2 defenders over to Nascimento. That's well done for the Blast.
We'll see if that short bench plays a factor here for Florida down the stretch.
Greenfield has it blocked out in front.
How many guys were there to block that shot? Like 4? Just see like a sea of legs.
A lot of guys in white. Here's Hall up ahead with Mello. 5:33 left to play.
Finally, Florida gets into their offense.
Foul called on Thomas. And this will give them a free kick straight away.
A real good opportunity here. Here's the replay. Timeout, Florida.
We'll keep it here with 5:27 left.
Let's see if we can see that foul again real quick. There it is. That's a foul. That's a foul. He didn't get the ball. He got man. It's a foul. Good call.
On the MASL out-of-town scoreboard in Harrisburg, the Knights lead the Heat 4-2. Midway through the third quarter in that game.
And Syracuse looking to clinch there, right?
Correct. Syracuse, or I should say the Heat jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but Syracuse has now scored 4 goals in a row. 2 in the second, 2 in the third. Joey Tavernisi, who's having a great year for the Silver Knights, with 2 goals and an assist in that game. Ricardo Carvalho for Harrisburg with a goal and an assist. 4-2 Syracuse leads in the third. If the Knights win that, they're in. Later tonight, it'll be the Comets and Sonora, the Barracudas in San Diego.
So, wow. Staggered. They back it off two-man wall here. Oh.
And Muzin kicks it way up and over. It'll be a goal kick for the Blast.
Kicked it into the concession stands.
Make sure there's no mustard on that ball.
Took them a while to get it. I think they were wiping the mustard off the ball. Dangerous play there. Florida gets a break.
That's three lines.
Yep. You just don't want, you can't just slam a ball off bodies in this arena because you never know where the bounce is going to go.
Gives the Blast a chance here from the yellow line.
I mean, you really can't slam the ball off the boards either because
you never know.
It plays right back into the middle of the field.
Pereira double teamed. Oh, nice held in by Healy in midfield.
Oh, good ball.
Dantas. He's pressured. That'll be off Vinny.
Oh, dangerous pass there.
Bad pass. Donatelli tried to sidestep it in.
That was a huge block defensively because Sliwa was out of position.
Dantas, big save. Sliwa. It's got to be at least 15 or 16 tonight. He had 13 coming into the fourth. Tie game at 7 with 4:42 left.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the MASL scoreboard in the third quarter, it's Syracuse 4, Harrisburg 2.
And then he tried so hard to keep his leg over top of the ball that he mishit the ball because he wanted to keep it in play and not kick it into the crowd.
Big cheer in the arena as the score was announced in the Syracuse game.
Big save by Capinos there.
Huge by Capinos. So, Andrew, was it a cheer for Syracuse or against the Heat?
Or against Florida. Florida would be eliminated with the Syracuse win. Oh, no.
Goal kickoff coming for Capinos with 4:25 left.
We've broken a ribbon board.
Ribbon board down. Little panel.
Does this mean we're going to have to move again?
Whoa.
Hoxie to Orlando.
Gareth, if we move some furniture in your house, I think we could play there.
Hey, my basement's free.
3 lines for Capinos.
I don't mean free of charge, by the way.
This one will not. The Blast pull this out, it won't go down as one of the prettiest wins, right?
No.
Texera.
Salas was thinking about looping over, but didn't go there.
Good work by Healy and Capinos. 3:45 left in regulation.
Good ball for Hoxie.
He's been the guy that's gotten it done all night.
Does he have 4 in him? Johnny.
Well, Vinny Dantas, a quiet weekend. Can he come on and put one in?
Slee, we're going to have to use his feet on that one. 3:10 left to go. Blast have possession. A win for the Blast, and they clinch home field throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. If Syracuse hangs on in Harrisburg, Florida's out. .240 left. Here's the man of the game, Hoxie. Nothing off the boards. Counter for Florida. Mujin broken up. Big foot by Donatelli in there to keep a breakaway. Here come the Blast out of that with Pereira.
Oh, good ball.
Donatelli. Greenfield. Again, the block out in front by Rodriguez.
Oh, behind Sliwa, but it eludes the back of the net.
Greenfield, that's a nice ball. DeSantos towards the goal. Salas. Diegas in front of Greenfield, and now they've got possession. 1:40 left. Schlemper on the floor for Florida. Not sure what Erica was trying there. Nascimento, nice touch. A little too far, though. Dump it in the corner, make Florida chase that with 1:20 left. Whoa, Sliwa in the noggin again. Comes away with it. Here's a run by Pereiras. Donatelli getting involved. Oh, nice breakup by DeSantos with 2 Florida guys in the box. Last minute of play in a tie game. Mello. That one's going to stay in play. The Tropics trying to break out of it. Held in by Nascimento, 39 seconds left. The Diesel, near side, Healy, 30 seconds left. Nascimento to Healy, off the boards, in the box, it's cleared away. Rayleigh, 25 seconds left.
How about Nascimento after not having a shift?
Thomas a chance. It'll be a kick-in. No, it'll be a legal procedure.
Right? Will it be illegal or no?
Yes,
Top of the arc.
Absolutely.
20 seconds to play.
I think we'll get a timeout here. They won't even pretend like they're going to fake it. They'll take the timeout and set it up.
Coming down to the wire here at CQ Arena. If you're the Blast, how do you approach it?
Well, most likely going to have Healy on the ball. Most likely going to look for either Donatelli or Dantas and set something up for them. Are we looking at our first possible overtime game at CQ Arena?
I think we've seen one before.
Was the Harrisburg game the overtime?
We did have a game with Harrisburg. Let's see. At Harrisburg was double overtime in the shootout.
We've had a home overtime game.
Harrisburg,
Harrisburg, yeah, 4-3 game.
Was the Hoxie goal. Seconds to go in this one. Donatelli in the box. Hoxie can't clean it up. 15 seconds left. Hoxie still working hard. 10 seconds left. Ball squirts out. 7 seconds. They've got a chance. Donatelli now 4 seconds. Dantas got to hit it. Dantas. Oh, it's just high! And we're in overtime.
Just high, no, he made the save. Sliwa got a hand on that and knocked it over the glass. Or knocked it into the glass.
Yeah, Sliwa made that slave.
That was headed for the back of the net. And Sliwa got his hand up and made that save. Oh, wow, here's the replay. Dantas nails this. This is headed right for the corner. And he gets his hand up and parries it on the glass.
Just barely. Oh! Overtime at CQ Arena. 7-7 in regulation. Blast outscore Florida 2-0 in the fourth.
By the way, I just noticed Juan Pereira. Remember, he ripped that jersey, and I was worried yesterday if he was going to have some of his own jersey. I just realized all they did was sewed it back together. Jersey, the center of his jersey looks like it was a bad surgical scar.
We'll have to find out the Blast seamstress.
It's pretty impressive.
Blast trailed 7-5 in the fourth. They got a goal from Hoxie early at the 43-second mark. Got a goal from Pereira at the 8-10 mark. Tied it at 7. And then flurries back and forth between both teams, mostly for the Blast in the last 5-6 minutes of the game, but they're not able to get it past Sliwa, and so we go to overtime. This will be the 13th game of 21 that the Blast have played that'll end in a one-goal difference.
Paul, I like to think Mike Conway at some point, like last night, 1 o'clock in the morning, over top a sewing machine with a needle in his mouth.
36 shots for the Blast, 27 for Florida. 12 blocks for the Tropics, 10 for the Blast. Peter Sliwa, 17 saves tonight, 24 chances. And Capino's 10 saves in 17 chances.
Wow.
It'll
quite a night for Peter Sliwa.
And 2 of those saves by his head. It'll be a 10-minute overtime. If neither team scores, we'll go to a shootout. Again, the Blast need this one to clinch home field in the Eastern Conference. And right now, at least, Florida needs this one to stay alive in the race. Syracuse leading the Heat 5-3 late in the third. If Syracuse wins that game, Florida is out.
All right, we'll redo here. I'm not sure what happened, but they're going to start over.
There was a Florida player about 15 yards down the field by the time he kicked the ball.
Dantas trying to win a ball in midfield. Oh, look at this, almost! The rebound, the score! That's it! Pereira!
Well, that was just all effort. Dantas started it. Sliwa gambled. Almost won that gamble, then it ended up on the foot of Pereira, and he did not disappoint as he drills it off the volley into the back of the net to give the Blast the win.
The last 2 goals of the night scored by Pereira.
The game tire and the game winner. That's a crusher. The ball deflected off of Sliwa when they tried to clear, and it went right to Pereira. Tough break for Florida.
Roque and Vanzella out there to congratulate their teammates. Big win for the Blast as they get home field throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. And it's a big loss for Florida as they've been knocked out of playoff contention. What a game.
Now, we started this at the beginning of the year, Gary, and we asked, how would the Blast do in a smaller field? How would they adjust? And
would they?
I think they get it. I think they're starting to get it now, you know?
Let's see, they're what, 11-0 at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got it. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy tonight, and it hasn't been easy for much of the season. Let's watch it.
Here's the save of the game here, and that was the best one. That was a 1-goal game when he made that save. May even have been a tie game when he made that save. Wasn't pretty by any means, but somehow, some way, the Blast find a way to pull it out.
Juwan Pereira is the first star of the game tire, the game winner. Giving the Blast an 8-7 win over Florida. Blast moved to 17-4 on the year. The Tropics fall to 10-10. Let's take it downstairs. Andrew Primrose, Juwan Pereira.
Juwan, first of all, thanks for putting the shirt back on for the interview. I appreciate that. Speaking of shirts, you forgot to throw out the shirt for the goal, so let's get that gone afterwards, all right? All right, so talked about you coming to overtime. You played 2 games in 2 nights. What are you feeling going into that overtime?
It's really hard for us, like, play 2 games, but we know, like, that time is going to be like playoff game. It's going to be like that all the time. So the team come and play against us. Every single time we're going to play hard. We have to be prepared for that.
Talk about the final play as you come down on the field. You see a player coming on with the ball. What are you thinking as you're going to the middle of the goal?
I mean, like, it's really hard to think about that, but like, we have to be focused 100% all the time in the game. I have a chance and I score the goal.
So now, perfect regular season at home, first season at CQ Arena. You guys are perfect at home. You know you're going to have at least 1 home playoff game, and now, if you win that, you'll have 2 as you clinch the Eastern Conference Finals being hosted here in Baltimore. What does that mean to you guys?
For us, it's amazing. Like, this field here, now our house, we're going to do everything, like, for everybody. Thank you, everybody, to support us today, and we will go for them.
Fantastic, man. Go through that T-shirt. Congratulations.
Well, there you have it from the player of the game, Juwan Pereira, who made the play of the game in overtime, slipping it past the goalkeeper, Peter Sliwa, who was terrific, by the way, tonight.
All right, let's watch the arm. Let's see. Oh, no, you got a little toss. There you go.
Little underhand. He's tired. He's had a long weekend, as we all have. But the Blast come out of this with a big win.
Well, gritty performance. They're down 2 going to the 4th. They find a way. They control play. They couldn't quite finish, but they found a way. Hoxie, Pereira get goals in that 4th quarter. And then just the unsettled situation. Dantas, just the ability to use his physicality to get into the offensive zone. And then they played pinball from there. You know, that's what you do in indoor soccer. Healy just kind of put it towards net. The ball kicked out by the defender, deflected off of Sliwa, and Pereira was the man that was there to take advantage and score the goal.
1-goal games, the Blast are 10-3. I mean, there's a reason for that.
They find ways to make plays. You know, maybe it's not always pretty. Maybe you don't play your best soccer all the time, but at key points, they just find a way to win. And you know, this gets back. This is something that's been building for a couple of years. When you think about the first championship 2 years ago they won in Sonora, you know, they get a late goal, they get an overtime goal. You know, they're down. Looks like last year in Sonora, they score a goal with 17 seconds left. No way the Blast can come back. They score a goal in 8 seconds, 9 seconds. They just find ways to make plays in crucial situations.
8-7 the final here. So we talked about this last night when we just saw William Vanzella on the field. He's hoping to be able to come back, definitely for the playoffs, but if he's healthy enough, even for the Syracuse game coming up. So what do you do in this situation now, knowing that there's nothing to play for in Syracuse?
We'll see. We'll see. You'd love to get, if William is going to be back for the playoffs, you'd love to get him a quarter just to get him back into kind of game mentality, game shape before the playoffs hit. But, you know, there's no reason to push it. If he's not 100%, if he doesn't feel fantastic, there's no reason to play that quarter. You know, let him start the playoffs if he can come back.
So the Blast now, their playoff schedule is set. We know that Syracuse is in. That game at the On Center in Syracuse will be on Thursday night, the 8th. That's game 1. Game 2, and if necessary, game 3 will be held in Baltimore at this arena at the CQ on Sunday the 11th, a special game time at 5:05 p.m. right here. We know game 2 will be played here at CQ on Sunday, March 11th. For ticket information, call the Blast, 410-73-BLAST. That's 410-732-5278. Our next broadcast will be that game.
Well, and it's interesting, Gary, considering that you're going to play Syracuse in the playoffs, what do you do the last game of the year that means nothing?
Right.
Do you just kind of kick the ball around, or what do you? I mean, you're not going to want to show them anything, right? You're not going to any of your plays, any of your restarts, things like that. So it makes it a kind of an intriguing thing. What's going to happen up in Syracuse next week?
And here is a look at the game winner.
Wow, I just saw that Healy put the ball in a nice place. He forced the defender to kind of lean over, and he was off balance. Watch. He's off balance here as Healy puts it on, and he's got to just get a foot on it, and it unfortunately deflects off Sliwa, and Pereira puts it into the back of the net.
If the Blast do advance past Syracuse in the Eastern Division final, they'll take on an as-yet undetermined opponent on an as-yet undetermined date.
Well, it'll be
in this building.
It'll be either Milwaukee or Cedar Rapids.
Correct. But we don't know the date. But it'll be here. So we shall see. Final score, Blast leading the Tropics 8-7. They do clinch home field throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. And, of course, we will keep an eye out on the West and see what's happening with Sonora, Monterey, San Diego, and Tacoma, as it were. Or Ontario, because that has not been decided yet with a couple games left. For Paul Mittermeier and Andrew Primrose and the rest of the production crew, I'm Gary Stein. Thanking you so much. Once again, our final, Blast 8, Florida 7. We'll see you on March 11th from CQ Arena.